Oh, right, are we live? Yeah, we are. So, I am responding to PsPower. Now, I know other people usually do this. This is usually a job for Truth Slayer or, what's the other guy? Dinosaur Avenger or, God, what's the other fucker's name? Monoxide. I know those guys usually do videos on them, but I would actually like to respond to this because I am subbed to PsPower. I don't dislike PsPower. This isn't going to be one of those videos or the equivalent of, you know, when someone doesn't like what you're saying, so they, fuck you, faggot, go fuck yourself. That's not one of those videos. This is YouTube, and this is, you know, an ongoing community where you can debate with people, and PsPower has been doing these videos for a while, where he has said things about, you know, the way, what makes a star and how guys look and all of these things, and I am subbed to him. And I don't always agree with his opinion because he has a very different opinion to mine, but I do enjoy a different opinion, and I want to respond to some of the things he's been saying lately. Now, it seems to me that he did this video called The Good Equals Lashley, The Bad Equals Bully Ray, The Ugly Equals WWE, and he started, and he has been ragging on champions like CM Punk, Edge, and Daniel Bryan. I know he has been ragging on those guys for years now. How they're not presentable champions, they're not acceptable, how people look at them and think that they could kick their asses, how his friends go out there thinking they could kick their asses, and all of this stuff that he says. And he said that now we have someone like Bobby Lashley, who's an acceptable champion, an acceptable world champion, who has all these legit credentials and all of this, you know, he physically looks the part and he's intimidating and he's imposing looking and all of that. And I had to stop there because he said Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley, the same Bobby Lashley that PsPower, if you want to check the archives, and I know he took some of those videos off, which is kind of interesting now, but I do know for a fact, because I used to watch him back in the day, he did videos basically telling us, you know, about the WWE roster at the time, ragging on Bobby Lashley. In fact, I think there's one called WWE Can't Create New Stars, and he rips on Bobby Lashley in that video, saying this guy has no star power, he has no charisma, just completely fucking ragging the guy, saying that this guy is nothing, he's not a star. And now, several years later, his argument kind of seems inconsistent to me, and it seems to me that he's just fixated on the physical look of the person, and then that's it. And I do agree with him, you know, guys need to have their own individual looks. I don't particularly like it when I see every guy in the WWE roster with the buzz cut and the prison tattoos. That exact same. I want to see people that look different to each other, physically look different to each other, just different looks. I think, you know, variety is the spice of life. But when PsPower seems to talk about look, I seem to get the feeling that he's talking about physical shape, like, you know, muscles and big, huge, gigantic looking men, you know, that 80s bodybuilding look. That seems to be what he kind of is approving of or talking about. And he was talking about, you know, now we have a champion in Bobby Lashley that is, you know, is presentable as a world champion. And to me, to be a world champion, there's a lot of ways you can look at this, because I did a video saying there isn't really a set way. It's really about what connects with the crowd. And if the Bobby Lashley look is the look that connects with the crowd as a heavyweight champion, then Mason Ryan would be WWE champion. And he's not even in the company anymore. And he was talking about, you know, oh, he's got these legit credentials. I don't mean no disrespect of Bobby Lashley by any means, but Bobby Lashley, who did MMA, and I don't know if PsPower knows anything about Bobby Lashley's MMA career, if he follows MMA in general, but look, Bobby Lashley did MMA. He barely, listen, I can see your point with Brock Lesnar, I will agree with that. Bobby Lashley did MMA and barely beat lower tier heavyweight fight. He didn't go in there and fight the best heavyweights in the world. Didn't fight Verdum, didn't fight Nogueira, didn't fight Bigfoot Silva, didn't fight Fedor, didn't fight Arlovsky, didn't fight any of those guys. He fought guys on the downslide and mid-level to lower tier guys, and he struggled against some of these people. He had a fight with Clay Guida's brother, Jason Guida, who's got one of the worst win-loss records in all of MMA heavyweight competition, and almost got choked out by him, almost got caught in the guillotine and couldn't even put him away. Bobby Lashley, that's the, you know, with legit credentials. Bobby Lashley did not go on the tear like, but Brock Lesnar, regardless of what you think of him, fought the best in the world and won a UFC title. Bobby Lashley didn't win a UFC title because the UFC never saw anything in him, unfortunately. He never won a Strikeforce title. He never won a Pride title or a Dream title. He won a local heavyweight title, and that is it. He fought in Strikeforce, and let's talk about Strikeforce for a second. He was hyped up. He fought against Chad Griggs, and MMA fans like myself, and Chris McGregor, if you're watching this, he'll chime in on this one too. He fights Chad Griggs. Chad Griggs starts hitting him, and Lashley starts folding. It's like Lashley doesn't want to get hit. And you're saying that this is a guy with credentials to be, with these legit credentials to be the champion, blah, 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 blah. Bobby Lashley, who had a great wrestling background before professional wrestling, he did. But as an MMA fighter, he's not viewed as anything special in MMA by any means. He lost to a past his prime James Thompson, and James Thompson was never an elite level fighter. And he barely just about beats these lower tier guys. He gassed out fighting a middleweight, for God's sakes. And that's the guy that PsPower is saying to be champion. It's almost like, to me, PsPower, and I don't mean disrespect when I say this, or maybe I do, I don't know how it's going to be taken. It's almost like the PsPower group. They came from that 80s bodybuilding craze where the guy with the biggest traps and the shoulders and delts and muscles on top of muscles. Those were the guys that were thought to be the hard men, and those are the guys thought to be the tough guys. Doesn't matter what they got up here, or if they could actually fight. No, those were the tough guys. And it's almost like that UFC where Hoist Gracie completely dispelled and shattered that whole aura and that myth. It's like that never happened in that kid's mind. Oh, but Bobby Lashley has the look. Bobby Lashley is a presentable world champion. The other thing about it is about Bobby Lashley being a presentable world champion. Here's the thing. PsPower, you ragged on this man for not having any promo skills. You ragged on this man for having no charisma. You ragged on this man for having no presence. You ragged on him for having no defining or discerning character. You ragged on this guy for years. Now what changed? What changed? Please tell me what changed. To me it's like a world champ. And here's another thing. He's done a video saying that we should cheer for the more appealing wrestler. Not the newer one or this one. No, the guy with the most appeal is the guy we should be cheering for. And it's right. That's why people cheer for Daniel Bryan. That's why people demand and want Daniel Bryan. And I don't really think it's just an internet thing. People want Daniel Bryan. They are hungry for Daniel Bryan. They want that. Eric Young, not the same thing. Eric Young, I will agree with you on that, has been a comedy performer for the duration of his TNA run, and him being world champion, really, I can't buy into it. Daniel Bryan being world champion, I can be bought into it a little bit, and he is an appealing character. He can talk, he is funny, he's a great wrestler, and it just seems to me that the entire audience seems to be in it, but PsPower's like, no, this is dumb, why is he the world champion, blah 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 blah. And he's talking about guys, with their looks and their and he's mentioning Roddy Piper, a great talent, a great promo man. I would probably argue that CM Punk has a better physique than Roddy Piper, and he's talking about look and how they look. Now, if you're talking about the actual kilt and all of that, I did discern him from everybody else. But again, he's talking about the look, and when he's saying look, it's like he just keeps focusing on this bodybuilder look that everyone keeps, that he keeps emphasizing. And then what confirmed it for me even more is when he did a video about Roman Reigns, and he said not about Roman Reigns. At the end of the video, he talked about the whole WWE just being plain dumb, this one being dumb, this angle being dumb, and I agree with him. Adam Rose doesn't really interest me very much. Bo Dallas is a heel, by the way, so if that is lost in him, that's actually quite hilarious. But, I'd like to see what he says about that further on. This is bad, that is bad, this is bad, this is a... And then he talked about the 3 members of the Shield, and why am I not surprised that he talked about Roman Reigns as the guy with the look? And again, let's just think about Roman Reigns' look. And I mean, no disrespect to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns wears the Big Boss Man's outfit from the late 90s. Roman Reigns is tall. Roman Reigns is muscular. That is it. That is his look. He is split from the Shield, and he still wears the same attire that he was wearing while he was in the Shield. It doesn't, I don't know what he means. I don't know what he means by Roman Reigns has the look. I think to him the look again is guys that are, these big jacked guys. That's the look. To me, the look, you have to have something. Like, people have got to want to be exactly like you. Where's the appeal? Like, I see, let me think of somebody like in the world today. I don't want to say Nicki Minaj because I can't stand her. That's a bad example. I don't want to use that one. Fuck, let me think of somebody. Don't want to use Kim Kardashian. Fuck, do not even mention that name there. God, let me think of a name at the top of my head. Well, at one point, David Beckham, when he wore something, everybody wore what he was wearing afterwards, besides the skirt. But the thing is, people, you know, he had his own style, his look, his aura, the way he carried himself as a football star, and people wanted to be like him. That's what, when you say look to me, that's what I'm thinking of. Guys who had their own discernible style within wrestling, and I think that's something that kind of gets people's eyes here. Guys like, let me think of somebody else off the top of my head. George St. Pierre being another one. You know, people want to be like him. People want to be like him. To me, to be over is to have people want to be you. And Roman Reigns, the jury's still out on, but when he's going, oh, the look, it looks like to me he's just talking about the physique. And I do agree, guys have got to be in the best shape they can be, but you do need like a variety of different looks, physique-wise. Otherwise, the muscular guy is not going to be as special as the next muscular guy, or the next muscular guy, or the next muscular guy. And that was a huge problem within the WWE. And then he was talking about things being dumb, and then he was like, oh, you know, Seth Rollins, which I kind of don't disagree. I don't think he's dumb, cut from the same cloth as CM Punk, blah, 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 blah. The Seth Rollins thing, the jury's still out on. I still think they need to develop the character more, but that's just my opinion. Then he starts going on about Dean Ambrose, and here's another thing that makes me laugh. He's gone on and ragged on wrestlers for not having any kind of personality or any kind of oomph to them. I remember he fucking trashed AJ Styles on one of his videos because he's just standing there. He's not even a star, he's just leaning by the rope. Dean Ambrose is supposed to be this kind of loose, loopy, unstable character, and he's doing things that fit with his character. And PsPower has criticised wrestlers for not doing things that fit with their character. So again, I don't know what he's talking about. But to me, I'm just responding to what he's been saying. He has done this video. I mean, I don't dislike the guy. I think he's an interesting character, I'll say that much. But he's coming out doing these videos, and you have to remember, it's like, not everyone's going to have the same... What the fuck? Be careful. You know, not everyone is going to have the same opinions, same beliefs, But when he's doing these videos, I find his arguments inconsistent. He's saying these things, and then he says something completely inconsistent to what he's been saying throughout the theme of his whole videos. And I'm telling you, go back, watch his videos, look at the stuff that he said about Bobby Lashley. And I've had, you know, little back and forth with him in the comments section once before when he came out with one of his little theories. And then I noticed he took the video off after that. So, look, no disrespect to the guy, but you're going around saying this guy's a presentable champion, this and this, Daniel Bryan, blah, 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 they're not presentable champions, CM Punk, all rubbish. Again, these guys have appeal. These guys have something. Listen, if your thought process about the look was true, right, Jake Cutler would be able to make it as a professional wrestler. You don't have the charisma, if you don't know how to go, if you don't have a discernible style, if you don't have your own distinguishable identity, you will not get over. Bobby Lashley doesn't have any of those other things. Bobby Lashley is considered a failure. No, I wouldn't want to call him a failure. He's considered a guy that never was in MMA. And you're saying that this is an acceptable champion. Yet many videos, many moons ago, you were like, oh, no, Bobby Lashley doesn't have anything going for him. I don't get it. What's the deal? Anyways, guys, I'm going to stop. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel. I don't normally do response videos to people, so if this is the first time you've seen me, hit the sub button. And be interesting to see where this one goes. Again, I'm not calling this man names. I'm not calling him fag, blah, 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 blah. I could mock him about the way he talks. You know, I could do his voice. In fact, let me do the voice for a quick second. Okay. We need to remember this, okay? The WWE, that's how he sounds to me. I'm not making fun of him. He can make fun of my voice. You know, fair game. It's like a roast almost. You can make fun of my voice. I don't mind. But come on, pal. Seriously, the fuck, Bobby Lashley, support the channel.